Alrighty, so our question of the episode is, you have to ride one ride at Disney for 24 hours straight in order to win $1 million. What do you choose? And why?
Do you have an idea, or do you want me to start?
I do have an idea.
Go for it. Let me think about this one for a minute.
Okay. Seriously, I am thinking People Mover.
Okay.
Because it is smooth. There's room that you could stretch out and get comfortable and have a good nap. And it's not anything that's like overly jarring or, anything like that. And it's the perfect thing. Plus, it slows down enough that somebody could actually like hand you food, drink, whatever.
Right. Yeah, I think that was where my mind went first as well, because you could also people watch. Mm-hmm. Whereas most of the other things, if you are actually on the attraction for 24 hours, it's hard to people watch.
Yes.
It would just be so repetitive, where you would always see new faces. You would always... But I want to be true to picking something different. So anywhere in Walt Disney World.
Yes.
Spaceship Earth is the other one that I think about.
Okay. Why?
Just, I think there's so much to look at and so many details that you can find that again, about the second time through, you'd start looking like, oh, I've been looking here every time. Let me look over here. Let me find, because I think the hard part about 24 hours on something would be the repetitiveness. Mm-hmm. And some things, like if it's moving too fast, you can't see details. Some things, the song might get annoying after 20 minutes, yet alone 24 hours. But the music in that is also really good. It's a dark ride, slow moving. If you need to catch a nap, you could. Again, at the entrance, somebody could hand you food if you needed it, if that's allowed in the rules, that kind of thing. So I think that would be my second choice after the People Mover.
Going along the whole people watching aspect and all of that, I'm really surprised you didn't pick the train.
I didn't even think about that as an attraction, though.
But it is.
So yeah, that would be high on the list too, because again, well, the same announcement over and over and over with 4 stops every half hour, I'd probably get like, okay, just stop saying that.
It's 3:00 in the morning. I'm the only one here. Stop it.
I'm not getting off. You don't need to tell me not to stand up. I'm trying to sleep here.
I'm as bored as I'm going to get. So.
Yeah, so my other question about attraction, so clarifying the rules before we get into the rest of the episode. Is it 24 hours on the attraction, or do you have to get off, go through the queue line, go on the attraction, get off, go through the queue line, or is it just once you get into a car, you're on that car for 24 hours?
I think that would depend on the attraction itself, because there are some attractions like the People Mover that just go in a continuous loop, but there are others that do have very definite places where guests are not supposed to be and that they have to go through to get lined up to go again. So I think it would just depend on the attraction. Yeah. But it would be a solid 24 hours of that same thing over and over and over again.
So someone could potentially say, okay, what attraction has the longest wait and the most fun queue? So you're not on the attraction sitting down for 24 hours, but you're getting your steps in, you're playing in the queue, you're all of those things. But
that's where I think the actual question kind of clarifies that, because it says ride, not attraction. So I think that means 24 hours on.
Right, you get off,
in a vehicle,
even if you have to get off, you don't have to stand in line, you just get back on at the entrance. Okay.
Right.
Okay, good clarification. I'm sticking with Spaceship Earth or the train. Probably Spaceship Earth because the music's better.
For sure.
Hi, I'm Scott.
I'm Candice.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Lariah.
Grab a drink and come hang with us at the Hangar Bar.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hangar Bar. You are with Scott and Candice again this episode.
Woot woot.
And we have a bit of something that I am very excited about. I think Scott is very excited about.
Yes.
But So we're going to talk about it because this is going to be a new experience for us, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We are actually headed back to our beloved Walt Disney World this December for a bit of a family trip. We're going to go with Scott's brother and his wife. The thing that makes this a new experience for us is that we are actually going to be staying off Disney property.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that, but I am stoked about seeing Disney at Christmas.
I can't wait.
It's been on my bucket list for years.
Yes, I can't wait because it is absolutely stunning. Stunning.
You understand when we come back, I'm going to have to add more lights to our house.
I fully understand that.
I'm just fully anticipating I need to save money for that now.
Yes. Start budgeting now.
So our house can look like the Osborne family lights.
Oh, no, that's too much. But RIP, by the way.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Staying off property is making me a little bit nervous as I think about it. But I think today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about what we're thinking, what we're planning, how we think it's going to work, and what might be a little different and what might be the same. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what we're going to get into today.
Yeah. So the one thing I do know for sure is that we are going to be going to a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And that will be our first time for that event. Actually going to be going to that on the last night that we are in Orlando. So that'll be a nice little ribbon on top of the package.
Is it our last night? I thought we got tickets for Thursday.
Sorry. Second to last night.
Yes. We had the option of getting it on Friday.
Still a nice little ribbon on top of the package.
Yep. Yeah, because we haven't figured out what our park days are, that kind of thing. So it may be our last day in Disney World.
Right.
So we haven't. That's part of what we're talking about today. We're not going to make any decisions without our other travel party, but my guess is we'll go into the park on Friday. Just because of when Mike's traveling down. Yeah. Listeners, you don't care about that. That's just us thinking, planning, but that's what we're doing. We're just thinking about that today.
Right. So the first thing that we have to do and consider, because we're not staying on Disney property, which I'm not complaining. This will be my first time there not staying on property. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that because that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, staying in the bubble is important for us.
Yes. So we have that to consider because we have to keep transportation in mind because we're not going to have a car. And so we're going to have to rely on probably rideshare to get from where we're staying to the parks. And while we've used rideshare before and that kind of thing, it's not the same as walking to a bus stop or a boat stop or ordering a minivan or something like that and having that transportation piece taken care of for us. So I think no matter what our plans are, we're going to have to allow an extra chunk of time that we normally don't have to for that transportation.
Right. And we're going to have to plan where we go into parks from. Like, and the resort we're staying at may have a shuttle to take us different places. It may, do we start every adventure at Disney Springs and just hop on buses from there? Or do we say, hey, we're going to go to Magic Kingdom today. Let's get a breakfast reservation at Ohana and then just go to the park from there and get an Uber over to the Poly. Those are the kind of things that I think we're going to want to think through. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I think the planning around how we're going to get into the parks and how we're going to get ourselves into the bubble and out of the bubble every day, I think that's going to be a challenge.
Right. Right. And another thing that we do need to consider is because we are not staying on property, we won't have access to things like the dining plan. We won't have things to extra magic hours, any of that, because we're not staying in the resorts. That's going to be something to consider as well as we're making plans. Plus, I know at least I am planning on taking my 9-to-5 work stuff and working remotely for at least a couple of the days that we're there. Mm-hmm. So, yes, we'll have our evenings to go into the parks and whatnot, but the time of year that it is, the park hours are going to be reduced. Plus, we have to think if we're going into Magic Kingdom and there's a Very Merry Christmas party that night, the park's going to shut down early anyway. So we've got a lot to think about and to consider.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're going to hear us document some of those things that we might. I think maybe what we do today, I know this is a long introduction to what we're talking about today, but maybe we talk a little bit about what we want it to look like. Mm-hmm. Because we're flying down on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and we're coming home the following Saturday.
Right.
So we're going to have 7 nights in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Part of our travel party's not going to get there until Thursday, right?
The following week, yes.
Of the week that we're going to be there. So you're going to be working for a couple of days. So we'll have Saturday and Sunday. The first Saturday and Sunday that we'll probably want to do like full kind of park day days is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick which parks we want to go to. So let's start there. So if we're thinking our first couple of days, we'll get park tickets for those days. Are we going to get Hopper on our tickets?
Well, I think that depends, and I think that's a discussion that we'll have to have with the rest of the travel party, even though one of them is not getting there until the following Thursday. But it's going to depend on what we want to do for things like dinners. So our last trip kind of switched my perspective on things, and I think I'm grateful for that. But in another way, it feels kind of very unlike me to say this. But I was talking to Scott when we were kind of first trying to put this trip all together. I am perfectly okay not going into Magic Kingdom as much as we have in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would rather spend more time in Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios rather than Magic Kingdom. And that kind of hurts my soul, if you want to know the absolute truth. I don't mind Magic Kingdom. Disney World would not be Disney World without Magic Kingdom, of course. But I think my focus and my attention is more drawn to Epcot at this point.
Right. And your favorite attractions are still in Magic Kingdom.
Yes, for the most part.
Pirates, Haunted Mansion,
People Mover. But you also have Spaceship Earth over at Epcot.
Right.
That, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, for the
There's
most part.
something in every park that you love.
Yes.
But like if you think about the number of favorite attractions per park, Magic Kingdom still rules for you.
Plus the castle.
Right. So we'll have to spend, like, you can't go to Florida and not go to Magic Kingdom.
We've done it once and it hurt.
Right. Even so, we may just have a day in Magic Kingdom, or
plus the Christmas party.
We might decide that maybe just the Christmas party is it.
Yeah.
So let's think through, because the other thing is with us having weekends, like the first weekend, it's going to be busier.
Yes.
Because all the locals will be in park.
And it's holiday season.
So
it's ramped up for that anyway.
We're going to have to prepare ourselves for longer lines. The lightning lane process has changed. It's no longer Genie Plus.
Yep.
Those are all things that we're going to have to think about. So maybe let's talk about, we get there on Friday afternoon. We'll check into the resort. We'll just have a relaxing day. Are you thinking we'll go over to Disney Springs that night?
Yes.
Okay.
I would feel very untraditional. And this is throwing me enough of a non-traditional trip.
Right.
That I have to do that to connect.
Yes. 3 weeks ago, we had a conversation with James and Theron.
We did. Oh, gosh, that was so much fun.
We're going to go to the Hangar Bar.
Yes.
Even if we just go to Disney Springs and we hang out there, I think we just go hang out at the bar.
Yep.
We look for the details.
Yep.
And we have small bites off their menu.
That'd work for me.
And then if there's something else that you want to do in Disney Springs, go look at or whatever, I'm good with that too. But I think we go spend a good chunk of time on that Friday night in Jock Lindsay's.
I agree. I was kind of thinking Polite Pig for dinner.
Oh, yeah, we could do that too.
Just because, like we
said,
we want to go there when
that's...
we have the appetite for it. But then, of course, we're going to wrap up at Jock Lindsay's. How can we not?
Yeah, and just hang out in the actual bar, not go out to the deck, not sit out front.
Unless there's no seating available, and then we can make a quick pass-through and look at some stuff and be as unobtrusive to the other guests as possible. But we can still look at stuff.
I plan on just standing there making someone uncomfortable until they move.
Well, aren't you an extra special guest?
Did you know this was supposed to be my seat tonight?
Please don't do that.
Hey, did you know did you know that I know the guy that designed this bar? That's supposed to be my seat. He said so. Maybe I can get Theron to write me a letter.
Oh, dear. Theron, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we're wrapping up the evening at Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. Then we will head back to where we're staying. Just kind of wrap up the evening.
And the place we're staying at is a Hilton Grand Vacation Club villa. So it's going to be super nice. It's like a 2-bedroom
Apartment,
full kitchen.
basically.
It's going to feel an awful lot like the
Old Key West.
Old Key West thing that we stayed in with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will be, it'll be a nice place to stay. I'm just, the transportation being like having to leave the bubble, like our ride share is not going to be a minivan. It's going to be a regular Uber,
Right.
Lyft, whatever.
Right.
It's fine.
It's fine. Whatever. We are spoiled. You know that?
We are.
We are.
We are totally spoiled.
But another thing that we're going to have to think about, and thank you for saying that, because one thing we are going to have to think about is with a full kitchen, I think we would be doing ourselves and our budget a disservice if we don't do some sort of grocery order or something like that so that we can at least have some food in the kitchen for things like breakfasts and things like that. So we don't have to budget all of the other things. Like,
Right.
I mean, we can go out for breakfast if we want to, but it's just as easy to grab something out of the fridge
Yep.
or something like that. And that will maybe align a little bit more with some of the food choices that we're trying to make.
Right. Yeah, agreed. It'll be vacation, so we won't have to be as careful as we are at home. But yeah, I think making some smart decisions like that will be wise.
Because then we can start with proper fuel for the day and
Right.
maybe not get our digestive systems in such a tizzy.
Not have an entire day of sugar.
Oh.
Okay, so let's talk about Saturday.
Okay.
What's the first park you want to go into?
I don't know. I mean, my knee-jerk reaction says Epcot, but at the same time, it says don't do Epcot because, again, it's a weekend and it's going to be more crowded and it's going to be Festival of the Holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I want to be able to use the food booths. Oh, and that brings up another thing. With the food booths and things like that and us not having access to the dining plan, I think what we're going to do is do what we kind of talked about when we got back from our last trip and load up a gift card with a budget of some sort and use that for things like the food booths and
Yep.
snacks and things that we want to do within the park. And then we don't have to worry about credits and all the other things.
Yep, it's just when the gift card is empty, we're done.
Right.
Or we reload the gift card.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
It's only money.
Right. But anyway, going back to your original question, I would say Epcot would be my first choice for a first park. But then at the second time, I'm like, is it? But then I think, okay, so my other school of thought is get my least favorite park out of the way first. But also, I know how crowded that's going to be because of all the bangers in that park.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a weekend. And also, I don't know if Mike is going to want to go back to that park when he gets there. And I don't know that I need to be there twice.
Yeah, he's not seen Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, yeah, we got to wait till he gets there then. Because
Yeah.
that and, okay, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a conversation we need to have with them. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking either I wouldn't mind doing Hollywood Studios twice, but I'm thinking Epcot or Animal Kingdom on the first day. Animal Kingdom probably will be a little bit more of a chill park on the weekends, I would think.
Based on the last time we were there, that is not the case. It was a Thursday and it was loaded.
Well, it was also a cheerleading competition.
That's true. Oh, but worst case scenario, we can always just pay the really high cover charge and go sit at Nomad Lounge for hours.
Which will happen anyway. But
True story.
But yeah, so maybe that Saturday we go to Animal Kingdom. And again, when we do our trip report on this, you may hear something different because we'll have a conversation with the other people going. This is kind of Candice and I's wish list.
Right.
But to me, Animal Kingdom seems like the good first day park.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And we've done that before. We did that with Lariah. Animal Kingdom was her first park.
Yeah.
And that gives us a chance to maybe go explore the affection section
And Rafiki's Planet
Rafiki's
Watch.
Planet Watch that we've never done before. Maybe spend some time hanging around the tree and just, again, that feels like a more relaxing way to start the trip
Right.
versus 17 hours in Epcot and Magic Kingdom.
Well, and to be completely fair, Animal Kingdom shuts down earlier than any of the other parks typically anyway.
Right.
So I think I would want a full day there as opposed to trying getting in for just a couple hours in the evening.
Right.
Like after a work day or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, that makes sense to me. And if we're at Disney Springs the night before, which we will be,
Yep.
I think kind of slow rolling it is a good plan.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we are looking at Animal Kingdom on that Saturday, like, are there things specifically that you want to make sure that are on your list? Like, I know we want to do Nomad Lounge. That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
But are there attractions that you want to make sure that we get to? I know we want to explore the Tree of Life a little bit because we've not taken a lot of time to do that before.
Mm-hmm.
Are there certain snacks that you want to eat? Are there certain restaurants you want to go to? Like, I wouldn't mind having dinner at Tiffin's, honestly.
Yeah, we can think about Tiffin's. That's if we want to be that fancy that first night. I'm good with that. But I think I'd love to try the street corn.
Yes.
The safari is a must for me.
Yes.
Is the new show in the Tree of Life going to be open by
The
then?
Zootopia show?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would almost doubt it.
Because if it is, I'd love to see a show in there, but I have no interest in seeing Bug's Life.
No. No. Mm-mm.
But if the Zootopia one is open, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Quick editor's note. As we talked about this, D23 was happening in Anaheim, and the show for Zootopia will not be open by the time we're there in December. It is slated to open sometime in 2025. More on that in a future episode when we talk about all the things that came out from D23. Thank you. Maybe go pay our respects to Dino Land.
Buy a bottle of water and pour one out for the dinos.
Right. One for me, one for my homies. Go win a stuffy at the carnival games, just in effigy.
Yes. Yes. No, we bottle our own water in. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, I think that's really it. Animal Kingdom is just one of those parks I like to go hang out in.
It's just so chill.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I've said this in before episodes, or previous episodes. Before episodes?
It's fine. It's the
Whatever.
same thing.
The first time I was at Animal Kingdom, it bothered me because it didn't feel like a Disney park. Now, that's one of the things I appreciate about it most, is that it does not feel like a theme park.
Yeah. I hope they don't ruin that. But
Same.
so
That's
yeah,
a different.
and other food, I think Flame Tree Barbecue. But if we're gonna do Polite Pig, if we're gonna potentially do Woody's Roundup, I don't want to over barbecue myself.
Is that a thing, though?
I don't know. Probably not.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think just the bouginess of me, I would rather go to Tiffin's.
Then do quick service.
Yes.
Is there anything over in Pandora that you want to try and eat?
Eat, not so much. I would like one of those Night Blossom slushy things.
Okay.
Just because I've never tried that and I like slushies.
Okay.
No, I would say probably maybe one of the bowls from Satuli Canteen. But there again, I'd rather go to Tiffin's and
Yeah,
sit
you
down.
won't prioritize it.
Right. And honestly, it's a bowl. Like it's a rice bowl.
Yeah.
While that would probably be good, and like cheeseburger pods sound okay, but I've eaten a Big Mac before. I've eaten a McDonald's cheeseburger before.
Right.
Priorities are on a different level, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I get that. We got some time to think about food options for sure. Okay. What about you? Anything that's a must-do for you in Animal Kingdom Day?
Well, always the safari. I mean, you
Right.
have to go on the flagship attraction of the park. It's a must. Go look at the antelope eggs. Let's see, the street corn, because we didn't get that last time.
Right. Go visit Betty the Yeti,
Yes,
because you didn't do that on our last
it
trip.
did not. No, again, like you said, I just love hanging out in Animal Kingdom, and it doesn't really. Of course, I guess you could say this for any of the parks, except maybe Hollywood Studios. I just had a revelation. Interesting. I just like being there. I don't necessarily need to be on something or doing something to enjoy my time there, except Hollywood Studios. But yeah, just being there is going to be awesome. And to be fair, that time of year, there's just something about it.
Yep. More things to look at, more things to see and do. Yep, I get that. Okay, so let's fast forward ourselves to Sunday. Probably another park day.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking maybe we start our day off, though, over in Disney Springs and have a brunch.
Oh, go to Art Smith's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we can do a park from there.
And maybe that's our first Magic Kingdom day.
Yeah.
Since we're going to be there for a party later in the week, maybe we go knock out some of the things that we want to do that day, as long as there's not a Christmas party so we don't miss out on the fireworks. Or maybe if there is a party, maybe that's our first Hollywood Studios day. Because, again, you're talking about basically making it a half-day event. How many park tickets do we need to make an annual pass worth it?
10.
Okay. Too late. Just because I'm thinking paying $200 for knowing that you're only going to use it for half day.
Well, but the thing about that is that much like the after-hours events that we've attended in the past, we can go into Magic Kingdom at 4 o'clock.
Right.
On the day of the party. And we'll be there till midnight. So that's 8 hours. That's a full day.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, not necessarily, because we usually pack 17 hours worth of park time into a day.
Right.
So it's a normal day.
Right. You looking up Christmas party dates?
Yes, and there is one on Sunday.
Okay, so we probably don't want to make that a Magic Kingdom day.
Correct.
So maybe that's our first Epcot day.
Mm-hmm. That would be fine.
Because my guess is we'll do more than one Epcot day.
Oh, yes. So Disney Springs, then over to Epcot.
Okay.
And spend the day there.
Right. So then you are planning on, so do you want to spend some time in what you want to do that day in Epcot? Is that a front of the day, front of the park kind of day? Or is that a front of the park and maybe see if we can get into World Showcase a little bit?
I would say yes, that it's front of the park, explore the worlds a little bit, and then dip into World Showcase.
Mm-hmm. See what attractions we can get in, like World Showcase, Guardians.
You mean Spaceship Earth?
Yeah, what did I say?
World Showcase.
Yeah, that's what I meant, was Spaceship Earth. And Guardians, Living with the Land, walk through the Moana attraction again.
Mm-hmm. Go see Walt.
Go see Walt. Yeah, do some of that stuff when we first get into the park. And then from there, go back into World Showcase. And maybe we prioritize attractions the first day and try and get into Remy's. I know you don't want to, but I wouldn't mind, because I've never even been on the Maelstrom track. So I wouldn't mind doing the Frozen attraction just so I can knock it off the list of things.
I can go get a Viking coffee from Kringlet Bakery and wait for you. It's a principal thing.
I understand. Okay, so that sounds like a good Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday you're going to work.
Mm-hmm. We'll have an evening in the park.
If we want it.
If we want it.
Because, again, that's like if you were working till 4 or 5.
It's pretty late.
We're not going to get to the park till 6. If they close at 9, that's $200 for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have to game plan that. That doesn't mean I'm not going to get a park ticket.
Sure.
Because I'm going to be on PTO. Because I have it to give. You just don't have as much PTO as I do.
And it could be that, you go into the parks and have a day, and then that evening we plan dinner at the condo and then do pool time or whatever there.
Yep. Because that time of year, it's going to get dark early, too.
Yes.
6 o'clock dark.
Yes.
So I don't know how late the pool will be open, or if it's a lit pool or whatever. We'll have to figure that out.
I mean, it's a resort, so...
Yeah. And I don't know how warm it is in Orlando in December. We'll have to... So many things that we have to think about.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I know.
I know my brother maybe wants to try and play golf, but I think with him coming down later in the week, I don't think that's probably going to work, because he's going to want to do some park time I'm sure.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, maybe that's what he and I do on Friday, and you and Gina go into the parks or whatever. Yeah, the day after the party.
Yeah.
We'll see, because then we fly out on Saturday, right?
I'm just thinking if he doesn't get there till Thursday at some point, when are we going to go into Hollywood Studios so he can see
yeah.
Galaxy's Edge and all that?
Yeah, that'll have to be Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So then you're planning on working Monday, Tuesday, right?
Yep.
So I'll probably make a park day one of those 2 days. The other one I might just go hang out at Disney Springs. Go wander around Disney Springs a bit. If I get bored, or just make it a resort day or whatever. Because what I don't want to do is end up just in the resort watching TV.
Yes.
I can do that at home.
Yes.
But Gina will also be there, so she and I could just go do a park day or something too on one of those days while you're working. So I don't know if I was gonna solo a park, which park would I want to solo?
You go get your Galaxy's Edge fix out that day.
Yeah, since you don't like Hollywood Studios, I could go do Hollywood Studios.
And then I'll go back on Friday, and that will be all I need.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's what I do. And then maybe Tuesday is a Disney Springs resort kind of day. Or go play putt-putt or something like that you don't really care about, that I think would be fun. I'll have to think through that. I know you've done kind of a solo-ish trip, but...
Ish.
And again, I have to remember, this is not... my guess is Gina's not going to want to just stay in the condo either.
Right.
So we'll have to figure out what we want to do there. Okay, so we are done with I'll plan my solo days or days with Gina later, because I'm struggling to kind of understand what that would look like, or what Gina would want to do, or how she and I would work in a park together. You know what I mean? Because maybe she and I have different ideas of what we want to do, and she goes and does a solo day, and I go do a solo day somewhere else. So we'll cross that bridge. We can Uber over to Disney Springs and then take buses wherever we want to go from there.
Or Uber where you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. So let's fast forward to Wednesday. Mm-hmm. You are not planning on working Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, right?
Correct.
You're taking 3 days of PTO.
Correct.
So are you going to want a true resort day?
Quite honestly, I mean, if just thinking through everything and knowing where my brain is at the end of most work days, I think planning to go into a park after work is overwhelming.
Yes.
To me. So I would be perfectly fine with just pool time at the resort or hanging out at the resort or something, and not having a full day of that.
Yeah, I think back to your experience with Disney Institute, where you had these grandiose plans of going in and spending a couple hours
so
in the
much.
park, and your brain was dead.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm just going to walk in to see the decorations and then leave.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And I would not trade it for the world, because, again, I got to see it at Christmas time. Stunning.
Yeah. So, yeah, I tend to agree with your thought process. I don't know that you would do well working a full day, going into a park, then having to go back and get yourself relaxed, to then sleep, to then get up and work again the next day. Mm-hmm. I don't think you would do well with that.
No.
So Wednesday would probably be another park day.
Yes.
So we've talked Animal Kingdom. We've talked Epcot.
I want to go to Magic Kingdom.
On that Wednesday, your first day of PTO, you want to do a Magic Kingdom day?
Or...
Do you have to get Park Hopper for your entire stay, or can you just get it on a single ticket?
You can do it a day at a time, I think. I'll have to research that, but I think you can get it a day at a time.
Because I wouldn't mind going into Magic. Like, maybe we start again. Maybe we go start in Epcot and then hop over to Magic Kingdom that day to get fireworks if there's not a Christmas party that night.
There's not on Wednesday. But I was also thinking that if I'm getting myself all confused, and like part of me says what my brain wants to do, and then part of me is like, that doesn't make financial sense.
Let's not worry about money at this point.
Okay.
Let's just get out there what we think we want.
Because if we're thinking about doing, like, we're doing the Christmas party on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, would it make sense to just have that be our Magic Kingdom day and just go from rope drop to
Midnight.
midnight?
Are your feet going to be okay with that?
If I start working on that now,
Because remember, that's a very similar day to what we did in our February trip,
I know.
where we ended up needing to leave the party a little early because feet couldn't handle it.
Again, if I start working on it now, should be okay.
Yeah, and you'll have a couple days before that where you'll be able to build up calluses. Because by the end of our February trip, our feet really didn't hurt that much anymore.
No.
It was just that first super long day that we're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Our feet were like, what are you doing?
Stop it. It's too much. So I would say I could see Wednesday as another Epcot day.
Just go back to, for you, it would be back-to-back Epcot, like Sunday, then Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's a day focused more on World Showcase.
Yes. And that would also allow us to sleep in a little bit that morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because if World Showcase doesn't open, a majority of it does not open until 11.
Right.
We could sleep in, be a little slow about getting up and around, and then going and just hitting it out.
Yeah. Heck, maybe we even get an Uber over to the boardwalk or to
Beach Club.
Beach Club and come in through International Gateway.
That would work.
If we're going to spend most of our time back in World Showcase, why walk all the way across the park?
Right. Good thought.
Yeah.
And then we can sniff the lobby while we're walking.
Right. Tackle somebody and take their room key. Give them ours and then take theirs.
Okay, here you go.
We're swapping, just so you know.
You're going to meet some really nice people. when
Right.
you get there.
I know a former Imagineer. They said it was okay.
Theron, again. I'm so sorry.
What are you going to do?
Wow. Yes. So I think that would be my preference, would be spend Wednesday in World Showcase.
Okay. Let's go backwards a little bit. I know you said Monday and Tuesday being days where maybe we have a pool night or whatever after you get off work. Are there any resort restaurants? Like, is that a night, is one of those nights where we go to Steakhouse 71?
Oh.
Or do we go over to Topolino's?
Either of those would work. I would also really enjoy having the dinner experience at Ohana.
Okay. Yeah, something like that on one of those
We've not done
nights.
something like that.
Yeah, maybe we do that on one of those nights.
Yeah, and that would be fine. It would just be a matter of finding the reservations.
Right. Which we can do 60 days out, right?
Well, since we don't have an official Disney reservation, I don't know how that's going to work.
What do you mean?
Like, the 60 days is if you have a Disney reservation that you're staying on property.
Okay.
I don't know that they're bookable ahead of time if you're not.
Don't you have to pick park ticket days? Like when you're getting ticket package, don't you have to tell them a time frame that you're going to be
I'll
there?
work all that out. It's
Okay.
just-
Yeah, but when we can get reservations, like there's lots of different resort restaurants that I wouldn't mind trying.
Mm-hmm.
Like the, not Victoria and Albert's, but the other one in the Grand Floridian.
Grand Floridian Cafe.
Yeah, that would be a good experience as well. So there's lots of different things that maybe we could do to get you a Disney fix those days.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Topolino's, their dinner looks good, but if I'm going to do Topolino's, I think I
Breakfast.
want to do their breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we do that on a Saturday. I don't remember what time our flights leave, but if we have time, maybe we do Topolino's for breakfast that morning.
If we can get in.
Yeah. Again, we're just dreaming and planning.
Mm-hmm.
That's, listeners, that's the thing. You can dream and you can plan, but you have to maintain flexibility. You have to have a plan A, a plan B, and probably a plan C.
And this is why we recommend so much working with a travel professional that specializes in Disney.
Yep.
Like me.
Exactly. Because then you say, okay, maybe on that Saturday morning we want to do Topolino's. Okay, I couldn't get a reservation there, but
What's your second choice?
what's your second choice? Maybe there's is it Grand Floridian Cafe that has the princesses
That's
and Aladdin?
1900 Park Fair.
Yeah, so maybe that's second choice, where we just do some sort of a character meal for breakfast that day,
Yeah.
but it would have to be outside the parks.
Yes.
Character meal.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one where you get to meet the evil queen?
That is at Wilderness Lodge at Storybook Dining. Yeah.
So maybe that's option C.
That
Well-
would be the lowest option C that I could think of.
But you would get to meet the evil queen.
I would, but she's not Maleficent, okay?
True. And you could tell her that. You're like, you were my last choice because you're not Maleficent. And just see what she says. She'd probably be like, who? Because it's not in her universe.
Right, right.
Who are you talking about?
Who is this Maleficent person?
What makes this Maleficent person so damn special?
Can you turn into a dragon? I didn't think so. Settle down.
All you have is an apple, bitch.
You get to turn yourself into a hag. Congratulations.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so that sounds like a good plan. So Wednesday, another Epcot day. Thursday, we're thinking maybe just make that an all-day
Magic
Kingdom
into
Day
the Christmas party.
into the Christmas party. Mike can join us when he gets there at 4 o'clock or whenever, depending on what his flight schedule is. Maybe he'll get a park ticket for that day too. Then on Friday,
Hollywood Studios
I
is
think
going
it's
to have to be
gotta be.
because he needs to get to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. He hasn't been back since Hollywood Studios has had any of their updates, I don't think. I don't even think he's seen Toy Story Land.
Oh my gosh, yes. Then we have to do that.
And maybe that day we do Woody's it's not Woody's, it's
Roundup Rodeo.
Roundup Rodeo barbecue.
Yeah.
Just because I want to try that again when I have an appetite.
Yeah, I know, but then I think about Cousin Quinn and
Yes.
50s prime time and
Yeah. Well, maybe we could stop in and see Cousin Quinn and just have a drink at the bar, at the Tune-In Lounge.
maybe. Yeah.
Like have a light bite
Yeah.
for
something.
lunch or something if we're
Figure
going
it
to do dinner. Because one of my Hollywood studio days, if I do two, is I have to get on Midway Mania.
Yeah.
I would love, like, if there's going to be 4 of us in Hollywood Studios, I think Smuggler's Run would be better if you knew most of the people in the Falcon with you. And then maybe we would get pilots as well. Because just being the navigator in the back is kind of, all you do is scream at the pilots because they don't know how to fly. Come on, people!
As any good navigator does.
Right. Come on, people! I'm pressing all my buttons. What are you doing? And I want to see that queue. Like, I want to see that
The
full
full-
queue.
yeah.
And not be kicked out at the last minute because the ride broke down.
Right. And then also we will be buying our way onto Rise of the Resistance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If
That's
I'm going
when,
to be in that park, I will buy my way onto that
Yeah,
every
and
time.
if I have the opportunity to buy my way onto it, I'll do that over waiting in line for it. But if we can't, for some reason, can't buy tickets, we will wait in line for that attraction. It's that good.
Yep. And then I would love to try and get on Slinky Dog.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll have a whole day in Hollywood Studios. There's not a Jollywood party that night, is there?
I don't think so.
And if so, is that one of those where we get a park ticket and then we do Jollywood, which then also probably means shorter lines for all the attractions? But at a Christmas party like that, do you really want to spend your time on an attraction?
Yes.
Because isn't the point of the party to kind of celebrate and eat the eats and drink the drinks and look at things versus just being on an attraction?
Well, yeah, but no, there is not a party that night.
Okay. Do we know park hours? Not yet.
yet.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I think Friday is, and we can talk to Mike and say, okay, do you want this to be a hop day? Do you need to see more than one park? Or are you good with just doing
I mean, he'll get to see Magic Kingdom the
on
night
Thursday?
before.
Right. Are you good not going into Epcot
Yeah.
in the name of seeing some of the best attractions in the world? But he may choose, like, and we'll have to think and plan differently if he's like, nah, I'm a Star Wars, I'm an okay Star Wars fan, but not a big Star Wars fan. I don't care about that. He may choose Epcot for the festival booths and that kind of thing.
And that's fine and everything, but as a Star Wars fan myself, I know how differently I feel about it now that I've seen it and
Right.
done it. So, not that we're the same people or anything, but I know the power that land actually has.
Yep, it's amazing.
It is.
It's really cool. So let's go back and think. So now we've talked a little bit about all of the different parks that we want to enter and when. We've talked a little bit about food. Is there any other food that you want to prioritize on this trip?
I don't think so.
Are there experiences that we haven't talked about that you're like, we have to do this?
No, aside from the point when we are in Epcot and World Showcase and that kind of thing, I wouldn't mind seeking out some of the special live performances.
Yes.
And not like the processional. I don't need to do all that business. But like some of the storytellers and some of the musical acts and stuff like that. I would love to take part in some of that.
Yeah, agreed.
Plus drinking.
Drinking, yes. Drinking the Christmas-themed drinks.
Yes. Well, not even so much that. Just I need another snake bite.
Right.
And a Viking coffee. That is one thing I really, really want this trip.
Okay. We'll make that happen. Did we like Steakhouse 71 enough that we need to prioritize it?
Well, yes. I will say that. I would like to have the full table service experience there rather than just lounge bites. And I think Mike and Gina would really like that as well.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure out how we can fit that in, though. Like, if we make that a Magic Kingdom day, no. Well, you could always hop on, if it's an Epcot day, we hop on the monorail.
It's a 5-minute walk from the park.
For Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
But we're going to be at the party is our only Magic Kingdom day.
Yeah, I know, but like we could do that for lunch. If we're in Magic Kingdom all day, we could walk over to Steakhouse 71 for lunch, go back to the park.
Yeah.
All that. But we can also go over there like one of the nights after work.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Because Mike's just going to have to realize that he's not going to get to do all the cool things that we get to do.
Right.
And it's fine. He's going on a trip to Italy this year that we're not going on. So he gets to do cool things we don't get to do. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else from a planning perspective as our professional travel advisor? What else should I be thinking about? We've talked about park days. We've talked about food.
Yeah, I think just the main thing for especially that time of year is to pack for layers once again, like we did in February, because the weather is it switches a lot and is cool in the evenings. And I think, again, the most important thing you can pack is your patient pants because crowds are increased. There's more people all over the place all the time.
Do you think the week that we picked is going to be that much elevated crowds?
I think it will be very similar to the last part of our last trip, like from Thursday on.
Okay.
Our last trip, I think it's going to be very close to that.
Okay.
Just because it's holiday season and people are trying to get there and get home and...
Yeah, I think weekends are going to be super busy for sure. But I also think when we're going, it's after Thanksgiving, before Christmas break.
And right around the middle of December. So I think we'll be okay, but it's not going to be uncrowded.
Right.
So we need to prepare for that.
Yeah. And it is what it is. It's fine. For the most part, I deal with crowds okay. Until they start walking shoulder to shoulder and blocking an entire lane of traffic. Then I just start, excuse me. Right?
Sure.
Start being very passive aggressive.
That's just aggressive, but it's fine.
Saying excuse me is passive aggressive.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Aggressive is just like barreling through without saying anything. Like you're taking up the whole...
saying excuse me was polite.
Well, the way I say excuse me is a little passive aggressive.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
After you spend 2 minutes behind them going, excuse me.
And imagine if you would just start with, excuse me, please.
No.
Extra special guest, ladies and gentlemen.
People need to have self-awareness.
I understand. It's very important.
And sometimes I feel like it's my job to help them understand they don't have self-awareness.
So you're bringing awareness to the fact they don't have self-awareness.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. Got it.
And sometimes it just makes me feel better. And that's all that I need in the moment. And then I go on with my day and I'm happy-go-lucky Disney goer again.
Right.
If anybody runs into me with a scooter, we're going to have words. Maybe if they hit me hard enough, I'll get a scooter. Like bumper scooter around Disney World. They're missing out on an opportunity to have like the cruise line horn on those scooters. Okay, we've completely digressed at the end of this episode. Anything else?
Gone off the rails. Any special souvenirs you want to look for while we're there during that time of year?
Probably just a good Christmas ornament for the tree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it needs to be personalized. I just want a good Christmas ornament.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can get one from the Christmas party. Like if they have themed merch for the Christmas party, we can look for that.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard. I posted in my work group that I was excited that we were going on a Christmas trip. And everybody's first piece of advice was at the Christmas party, shop first.
Yes.
Because they will run out.
Yes.
So if you want a shirt, if you want an ornament, if you want anything like that, shop first. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you won't get. Like at 4:00, or when the party starts at 7 or whatever, you go find your way to the shop that you want, and that's where you start.
Mm-hmm. And that's good advice.
Yeah. That way you don't miss out on the merch that you want.
Right.
So if you want a good pair of ears or you want an ornament or something like that. I also wouldn't mind, we need to replace our one picture frame.
Yes, we do.
That's broken.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind replacing that because I like that picture frame. I don't think they make it anymore, but something like it would be nice. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just Christmas themed that we keep at just Christmas time, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But the older I get, the less I'm interested in merch.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about that before. The experience is more important.
Yeah.
And even if it's a situation where like we buy a photo pass package or something like that to get some of those pictures, I think that is something we would like to think about maybe.
Yeah. I think we should. I think I've never been disappointed when we've gotten the photo pass. Mm-hmm. Especially with a Christmas party where you're going to be having maybe some really cool shots and character meets if you want to do that kind of thing, I think will be...
Oh, the one thing that just popped into my head, you said character meets and that made it trigger.
Yeah.
I need to find that place in Hollywood Studios where I can meet Sorcerer Mickey.
It's the same place where we met him in his 100th, right?
No, that was at Epcot. The one in Hollywood Studios is right down the street from Hollywood or ABC Commissary. We walked right by it like 3 times.
Okay.
The last time we were there, and I didn't know he was in there. Otherwise, I would have stopped.
Okay.
But we have to find him this time.
Okay. As long as he's not in a Christmas outfit and he's in his Sorcerer Mickey outfit.
Just stay Sorcerer Mickey. I need you in your Sorcerer Mickey outfit.
Go in and get your picture taken and see him dressed as Santa Claus. You'll be like, Mickey, I'm so disappointed in you.
Where is Sorcerer Mickey?
Where's your sorcerer hat? That's funny. Okay, anything else that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I'm just looking forward to this. I think like my anxiety is kicking up a little bit just because this, like I said, this is my first time not on property, and that kind of...
It's new. It's different.
I don't like it, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. I always tell people at work, if you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Okay.
So as a travel professional, this will also give you a new perspective on what some people can do to make their trip and be able to give them better advice.
Yes.
So you're
I
growing
give great
as a
advice.
professional.
Thank you so much. I know what you meant.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. We still have a copy of How Does Disney Do That to give away. In our episode with James and Theron, nobody followed instructions, so we're not going to just... There's a few folks that liked the post, but they didn't say that they heard about the book giveaway, so we are not going to give away the book from that post unless we see other posts on it. So I'm going to give you the opportunity again. Come out and comment on this post, on this episode's post, about something that you don't think Candice and I should miss from Christmas season at Disney. And that will enter you into a chance to win James and Theron's book. A signed copy of James and Theron's book. Mm-hmm. It is worth it, and it costs you nothing to come out and give Candice and I advice on what we should do at Christmas time at Disney. Mm-hmm. Okay, do that. Facebook, Instagram, please. Either place, do it. We want to give this book away.
Right.
Right? It's a good read. You want to read it. You can find us on any of your podcast platforms. Share us with your friends. Share the posts that you see on Facebook or Instagram to your stories or whatever. We love doing this. We love talking to you all every week, and we think we put together a pretty good product. So share us with everybody, and then come out and rate, review, all of those kind of things that help the algorithm pick us up, and share us with more people just organically as well. And remember, there is always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And we'll see you real soon.